Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. We're very glad you're with us this morning. It's it is not June 26th. It's July 5th, 16th, 17th, July 17th. Sorry about that. I'll have to fix that. Please note this event is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2007, I took over facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. This group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007 when the prior leader landed a job. In 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched careerusa.org to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon. If you see me in person, I always have copies with me. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team, also known as the PIC Crew, and you'll hear more about them in just a few minutes. Our agenda this morning will start out with success stories. We'll then go to 30-second introductions. We'll do everybody here in the room first, and then we'll go for everybody who's online with us. We'll then share job leads if we have any recruiters online with us. We'll then hear from the Interview Success Workshop, the Practice Interview Team, and then Career Tip of the Week, and then our main event about the top of the hour. Well, I'd like to start the meeting off with good news. Do we have any landings to announce? We have donuts, so I will read. Let me read to you an email I got this morning. Hey, Jeff, the good news is I've landed a new job. The bad news is I may not be able to attend the meeting in the morning. I plan on dropping off donuts, but then I have to race home quickly for a 9:30 business meeting. So these were from Eric Novak. He has a new position with K&B Global Consulting as a principal consultant. He got the position through networking. I want to thank God, of course, followed closely by Jeff, the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group, South Lake Focus Group, Frisco Connect, the AE Group, the EIT. I don't know what EIT is. If somebody knows, let me know. And other job networking groups. Rusty Wright, Terry Sullivan, and my CSN Accountability Group, and too many others to mention. The only mistake is to stop looking and pushing. It has been difficult, but I'm sure for many job hunters, it really is when, if not, when you land. So I am speaking for Eric Novak. I have landed. So we have one landing. Yes, great news. And thank him very much for bringing donuts before his meeting. Anyone else? Any more landings? Nope. All right. For everybody who's on chat, if you will, open up the chat window, give us your name, the position you're looking for, 2 or 3 target companies we may be able to help you with. Give us your email, your LinkedIn address if you like, the phone, and the city you're watching from. If you have companies that you have connections, please list those because maybe you can help somebody else who's on the call. Everybody here who's here today will get a copy of the chat. Everybody online will get a copy of the chat. So if you don't save it, you'll get it tomorrow when I put out the emails to everybody. We'll put 30 seconds on the clock to get started, but hold on, I need to do one thing. Here we go. For those of you who like to post to YouTube, if you post the 60-second version, they flag you and they'll take it down. So I've safely gotten a 30-second version up for a while now. All right, we want to do now is everybody who's here in the room, if you will, come up, grab the microphone. We're going to do 30-second introductions. So come on down.
Good morning.
Woo.
Wow. My name is Gary Humphrey. I'm looking for director, operations manager roles. I previously worked for IBM, supporting Walmart globally. Moved back to Texas and looking for new opportunities. I do have some contacts in IBM and in Walmart, probably two of the biggest ones I have. I had 3 interviews this week. Well, 2.5, because one was a scam that y'all should know about. It looked real, and it actually popped up the Zoom call. But then when their window popped up, it had this weird static, like, But then it wanted to get you to go somewhere else and download information. And I tried it 3 times just to see if it was a fluke. And it definitely, and then I was say, well, let's look at something a little closer. I looked back at the company. Company doesn't exist anymore. It was merged into another company, but they had the recruiter that was the same recruiter that now was with the new company. So definitely research if something, especially when they come across as, we really like you and we really want to talk to you quick. It's those ones that respond back in a day or so. That's probably not going to happen. As we all know, it takes a week or 2 for someone to even look at your stuff. So, but yeah, sharing that. But I do have one in the works, and then I have one with, there's a company called the 20 MSP. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's here in Plano. IT company founded by an ex-EDSer, which I also used to work for. So they're growing. They just acquired the 48th acquisition. So really something good. You might want to look at it. And it's the 20 with 20, the 20 MSP, because they're definitely growing. I have an interview on Monday with the COO. And the good thing is, unlike some of these others that said 3 or 4 interviews, I had the screening and the recruiter told me if they want to move forward, you'll meet with COO and that'll be your last interview. So
Good luck.
Yeah. But good luck to y'all. Y'all watch out for the scammers.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, folks. Fabian Broncano. Where's the camera? Right there. I'm a seasoned IT infrastructure leader, modernizing networks, data centers, and telecom environments across 3 Fortune 100 companies, a leading national healthcare provider, and multiple international markets. I'm looking for contacts with Digital Realty or with CyrusOne. I have contacts at Concentra Health Services, where I used to work for the past 20 years. And once again, my name is Fabian Broncano. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Todd Haney. I am looking for a role in customer success and communications. I need contacts at Power School, Motorola Solutions, and my latest one is, I think it's pronounced Meta Analytics. I have contacts through my connections with the Association for Talent Development. My name is Todd Haney.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is David Turner. I'm an HR systems analyst. I've controlled access to the data of more than 300,000 employees in 86 countries using my expertise in success factors. I don't need any contacts this week. I can possibly help with contacts at PepsiCo. My name is David Turner.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Valerie Braxton Williams, a business strategy engineer looking for my next opportunity as a director of product management. I am targeting companies in the healthcare technology space like Syncora, Omnicell. I'm also looking at Texas Instruments. I have contacts at McKesson and Kimberly-Clark. My name is Valerie Braxton Williams.
Thank you.
Good morning. Let me get on down. Let me squat this one here. I'm 6'6". This is not easy. I'm Phil Elsner. I'm a PMP credentialed project manager with lots of years of experience in communications and medical. I'm Phil Elsner.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Belzil. So I'm seeking a Director of Data Analytics Products role. So I help companies ring their performance bell by converting data into dollars. So specifically looking for contacts at target companies in CPG and retail, 7-Eleven, Keurig Dr. Pepper, Frito-Lay, et cetera. So I have contacts at Walmart, Epsilon, and Circana. My name is Mike Belzil.
Thank you.
My name is Joel Rowe. I'm looking for a creative director or director of brand designer positions, either at companies or at advertising or design firms. I'm looking for, again, bigger companies that may have in-house design departments, again, or advertising or design firms. I do have a few contacts at Texas Instruments and public relations firm at, I just realized I was way up front. We should mark an X right here. So, excuse me, at public relations firms in Irving. Again, my name is Joel Rowe. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is it right there.
Good morning. I'm MD Williams. I am looking for a position as a learning development coordinator or a senior facilitator. Right now, I don't need target companies and I don't have any to share. Again, my name is MD Williams.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can get a little bit closer. Good morning, Donna Bellamy, Senior Marketing Leader. I have increased consumer engagement by 300% by translating consumer data and insights into effective marketing programs. I'm looking for roles as a Senior Director or VP of Marketing, preferably in-house, but also open to agency roles. I'm looking for contacts specifically at Mars Pet Care, Bimbo, and Expedia Group, and I have contacts within the Omnicom Media Group. Donna Bellamy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Miranda J. Cox. I've had over 20 years in education experience, but I am pivoting and moving into the corporate world. I'm looking for a position as an HR coordinator. I'm open to any company that is hiring just to get my foot in the door. And I guess that my top favorite might be like Top Golf or something fun, something, I don't know, but any kind of medium to large company where there's room to grow. So again, my name is Miranda J. Cox.
Thank you.
Somebody just landed at Top Golf. We'll get you in contact. Yep. Good morning, everyone, and happy Stage 13 day of the Tour de France. I'm John Hamer. I'm a Senior Technical Project Manager. I'm looking for positions as either a Technical Project Manager or Technical Supply Chain Management and Vendor Manager. I'm looking for target companies at RTX, Raytheon, Collins Aerospace. Again, I think I mentioned a couple times, looked like Verizon has laid off again another 3,000 people, but they're also hiring contractors at the same time. So make sure you're reaching out to your contacts at your contracting companies. That's what I'm trying to say. My name is John Hamer.
Good morning. My name is Adrienne Cowan. I'm a wholesale sales director in the retail space. I'm looking for brands that are female-led or female-focused. So I'm looking for Away Luggage contacts, Elf Cosmetics contacts, Athleta contacts. I've been in the athletic and fitness space for the past 25 years, so I have many contacts in those companies if anyone is interested. Again, my name is Adrienne Cowan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, my name is Canisia Smith. I'm looking for jobs in IT, data governance, things to do with metadata management or business analysis. I need contacts at any banking. I have my experience in the banking and financial industry. My most recent experience was at Bank of America and Charles Schwab, but I worked there as a contractor. And my previous experience was also with mortgage banking, but in IT. I don't have any contacts I can share at this time. My name is Canisia Smith. It was hard to do this for the first time.
Thank you.
And I promised I'd make her look good by contrast. So I'm Jason Rice. I'm a senior software engineering manager, 3D real-time UI UX for flight simulators, digital twins, training and stuff, lots of mathy, physicsy stuff. I'm trying to find somebody to help me to meet somebody inside Caterpillar. If anybody's got a contact, I'd appreciate that. Or Raytheon would be cool. I do still have contacts with Helmick and Payne, but I'd recommend if you're in Tulsa, doing it there because they're centralizing to Tulsa. So Helmick and Payne, great company, loved them. I recommend them, but not if you're not in Tulsa. Jason Rice.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm David Watrous, and I'm looking for a vice president of sales, sales director, or senior enterprise business sales position. I need help on contacts at Goldman Sachs, who's expanding rapidly here in Dallas, Bear Stearns, Fisher Financial. These are all financial related companies. And in my old industry with T-Mobile. I can provide help to people who need help within Verizon Wireless, and Charter Spectrum. Thank you again. My name is David Watrous.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Rihanna Kajaka. I'm a data analyst. I use data, I interpret and analyze data so senior leadership can use it to make strategic decisions. I believe that all my skills are transferable to other industries, although I am having a hard time convincing other industries to give me interviews. It seems like the only people that will bite are people that are in healthcare. I'm looking for possible contacts at Baylor Scott and White in the DFW area. And I'm also flexible to other industries. And I have connections at healthcare companies. So if you're interested in healthcare companies, contact me and I'll in the DFW area and I hopefully can help you.
Anybody else?
Oh, my name is Rihanna Kajika.
Thank you. Okay, I'll take that. Thank you. All right, we want to get everybody who's online now. So if you will, please raise your hand, open up the little thing so we can see who's out there. So Scott, we'll let you go first.
Good morning, everybody. Scott Boudreau, Certified Planning, Inventory Management, looking for a supply chain job in central New Jersey or remotely. Scott Boudreau.
Thank you. Miguel.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. Miguel Castillo. I'm looking for a director or above in finance, financial planning, and analysis in large companies. I need contacts at Caterpillar, Dyson, or Keurig Dr. Pepper, and I have contacts at American Airlines. My name is Miguel Castillo.
Thank you. Chandra.
Good morning. My name is Chandra Thomas, and I'm looking for an image review processor or administrative support assistant position. I don't have any contacts at this time, and my name is Chandra Thomas.
Thank you. Steve.
Good morning. My name is Steve Rowan. I'm a retired .NET developer. I've got contacts at Fiserv and the VA. My name is Steve Rowan.
Thank you. Tracy.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Harris. I'm a senior recruiter with Thomas Edwards Group. We are a boutique staffing firm that specializes in accounting, finance, HR, and IT recruiting and are local to the DFW area. My name is Tracy Harris.
Thank you. Sapna.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sapna Shah. I'm a project manager, PMP and CSM certified Scrum Master. Currently in the Plano area and looking for jobs in Plano, Frisco, Allen, McKinney. Looking into contacts for Cinemark and Simpson Strong Tie. My name is Sapna Shah.
Thank you. Brian.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian McGovern. I am looking for a job as either an HR or benefits coordinator. Some of my targets this week are going to be looking for Aon, Omni Hotels, Paycom, and Digital Realty. And I have contacts at Hilton, Korn Ferry, and Mr. Cooper. And once more, my name is Brian McGovern.
Thank you. Kurt.
Hi, I'm Kurt Schaffenberg, Senior Systems Developer and Analyst. Had code running on 3 continents since 1997. And I'm the guy that stole the election in 2020. So if you'd like to buy that or this bridge from London that I've got, they're both sitting in my garage and I can sell them to you cheap. My name is Kurt Schaffenberg. Thank you.
Thank you. You get applause for that here. William.
Good morning, everybody. My name is William McLaughlin, currently seeking a business analyst role and looking for contact. 2 of my target companies include Cinemark and Dave & Buster's. And just wanted to let everybody know as well that there is a job fair, one of the biggest of the year, coming up on August 6th. There will be a complete list of employers on myntxjobs.com. I will post a link to that in the chat. I will also post a link in the chat for post links in the chat, I should say, to other events that may be of interest to people here as we're coming up on school starting and all. Again, my name is William McLaughlin. Thank you very much and happy Friday.
Thank you. Danielle. Danielle.
Hello, my name is Danelle Knight. I'm an HR director and I help organizations strengthen engagement, culture, workforce performance by also reducing their employee turnover and recruiting costs by increasing the employee value proposition. Target companies that I'm looking for, American Airlines, Topgolf, also McKesson. My name is Danelle Knight.
Thank you. Kahali.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kaylee Bridgewater. I'm located in the Dallas, Texas area. I am currently looking for brand and product marketing management roles, specifically in CPG, beauty, as well as agency roles I'm open to. So some target companies for me are Sally Beauty, PMG, KDP. Those are some target companies. And thank you.
Thank you. Vinay. You're muted. There we go.
Yep, thanks. Hi, I'm Vinay Singh. I'm new to the Dallas area. I'm not sure which companies are here. I'm in workforce transformation. I really bridge this gap between workforce, human capital, and technology. I specialize in change management, program management across all the functions of human capital, which would be talent acquisition, human resources, and learning and development, and all the associated technologies across the tech stacks. I've worked at companies like defense and aerospace, like L3 Harris. My most recent employer was a very big management consulting firm, technology company called NTT Data, which happens to be in Plano. So I'm across the board because every company badly needs human capital and AI transformation. Just finished a master's degree in artificial intelligence as well. Vinay Singh, new to the area, northern Dallas area. Thank you very much. It's my first time at this.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Michael.
Hi, my name is Dr. Mike Meyerson. I'm a primary care physician with experience in various settings, including institutions. I'm looking for a medical science liaison role. My target company is Myriad Genetics. I have contacts and can help at my previous employment. My information's on the chat. My name is Dr. Mike Meyerson.
Thank you, Jill.
Good morning. I am based in Southern California. I am looking for remote roles or hybrid as a total rewards leader, which encompasses compensation, benefits, mobility. I am looking for contacts at Google, Databricks, Vantage data centers. I am able to link people into Baylor Scott White Health. Jill Ayuso.
Thank you. Scott.
Hi, everybody. My name is Scott Blazik. I'm currently exploring new opportunities in medical device sales or industrial sales throughout the DFW area. Target companies are McKesson, Stryker, or Medtronic. And so any help, I would appreciate it.
Thank you. Melissa.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Valisa Madden. I am looking for roles like Director of Internal Audit, Director of SOX Compliance, Director of Business Process Improvement. I am interested in companies like McKesson, UTSW, UFG Insurance, USAA, Caterpillar. I have a whole list. I'm going to put them in the chat. And I'm also able to connect people at companies like AT&T, Grant Thornton, ADP. I help companies understand and comply with applicable policies, laws, and regulations. Again, Valisa Madden.
Great. Thank you very much. Rosina.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. I am Rosina Gallman, and I'm your career tip of the week host. So I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm looking for a position as a senior talent acquisition business partner, senior recruiter, or any type of talent acquisition manager position. I need contacts at Walmart, the new Visio team, or Walmart in the fulfillment center in Fort Worth. I have contacts at a variety of other companies, and so as we connect, feel free to let me know who you might need introductions to. Again, Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner, Senior Recruiter, or Talent Acquisition Manager. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Anybody else online? Going once, going twice. Anybody
Jeff.
else? Yeah, go ahead.
Craig Campbell, corporate real estate professional. So seeking roles with titles such as director, AVP, VP of real estate. A company of interest is Ascension Health. So contacts there. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, my name is Brad McKenzie, Dallas Fort Worth area, looking for a network engineer role. So I've been looking for a few weeks now. Glad to be here.
Great. Thank you very much. Last call. Anyone else? All right. Tracy, what's going on at Thomas Edwards Group?
Yeah, some roles I'll highlight today that we recently got in. On the contract side, we've got things in billing and accounts receivable. We have some IT focused contract roles, SAP S4 HANA, data migration, and we've got on the perm side, we've got some accounting roles, finance roles. We have some director level positions as well. So I'd encourage you to go and look at thomasedwardsgroup.com and you'll see our full listing of open positions.
Tracy, thank you very much. And her contact information is in the chat if you want to reach out to Tracy. John, what's going on in Computer Minds?
Hey, good morning, everybody. John Machinsky, Director of Admissions at ComputerMinds.com. Jeff, I appreciate you bringing me on. Just wanted to tell you all about some free training opportunities that might be able to help you with your transition. So at Computer Minds, we provide free short-term certification programs. We focus on the information technology, networking, cyber cloud, project management, Six Sigma Scrum, logistics and supply chain, and the business administration fields. And we're able to offer these services free of charge because we have a partnership with the Texas Workforce Commission and the WIOA Scholarship. That'd be something to write down, WIOA Scholarship. The scholarship is a program through the Texas Workforce Unemployment Offices across Dallas, Fort Worth. And if you qualify for that scholarship, it'll pay for your certification training. Things like collecting unemployment benefits are ways to pre-qualify for the scholarship. So if training and certifications is something you've been looking into, but maybe you haven't had the time or the resources, this could be an opportunity for that. I'll drop my contact information in the chat. Obviously, you see my information here on the slide. But if you request information on my website, there's going to be a drop-down box for how did you hear about us. Please pick the Plano Career Focus. Your information will come to me and I'll be able to walk you through the process. Just to give you an idea, if you're up in the North Dallas, so like the Collin Denton area, they're spending up to $15,000 per person. Dallas County spends up to $17,000 per person, and Tarrant County spends up to $8,000 per person. So they have funding, they are spending, and then on October 1st, they get all new money, so they'll start spending even more at that point. So if I can help, please reach out and I'll walk you through the process.
John, thank you very much. For everybody here in the room, I've got John's business cards back in the back. You can grab one on the way out if you'd like. All right, time to hear from the Interview Success Workshop and our poem of the day.
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. Was it Kathleen McGregor that landed at Topgolf?
Yeah.
Okay, whoever was looking for Topgolf, Kathleen McGregor just landed there, so I had a contact for you. So my name is Walt Glass, and I love to help people with interviewing skills. I offer a free interview success workshop. Look me up on LinkedIn for details. The About section gives you a lot of details about it. That's my current job since I'm retired. I've been doing this over 10 years. I'm glad to have you participate. I'm also a panelist on the pit crew, which you'll hear about next. But what is it about the workshop? It is a learning interview. It is not a mock interview. And we're learning how to sell ourselves because we're in a selling situation. So what are we selling when we sell? I ask people that, and ourselves is the answer. It's okay, define ourselves. Well, it's who we are, what we do, experience, skills, knowledge, how we work, and how we can help. And so the workshop is based on the 12 basic categories of questions. So we learn about how we can approach these categories. What are our options? What are our strategies? What things might we look at as a framework for responding to that type of question? So I'd be glad to have you participate. It is not going to be stressful. We can have fun while we're learning. We don't have to squeeze our cheeks just because we're learning how to interview. No, we can just relax and say, look, because you can start over, you can pause and think, you can say, I don't know. All those options are available. And then we'll discuss that. You'll get a video of your interview. I do 2 people at a time, and you interview each other, and I provide the questions, 1 out of each of the 12 basic categories for you to respond to and talk about. So be glad to have you participate. You have to be registered to attend, okay? And so there's a scheduling request QR code, starts out an email. I just need to know like how you learned about me. And I'll get you some dates. I do it on Tuesdays, 9 to 11 on Zoom. I'll be glad to have you come down and participate. And so, welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group, where our host, Jeff Morris, gives us job search scoop. Today, John McDorman brings a special gun, firing networking nuggets to everyone. It is the path to get our job search done. I am Walt Glass.
Very good. Thank you, Walt. All right. The practice interview team meets every Wednesday at 1 o'clock right here in this room at Christ United Methodist Church, Coit and Parker in Plano. They meet in person on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th Wednesdays of the month. On the 4th Wednesday of the month, they are online only, so that way anybody anywhere can watch. They always do 3 interviews every Wednesday. The benefit of watching and coming to see these interviews is the panel will give feedback to the candidate. So You don't get feedback when you go to the real interview. So you can come here, watch somebody else being interviewed, offer feedback. You'll learn things just as much by watching somebody else going, oh, that was really great the way they said that, or oh, I'm going to make sure I never say it that way in the future. So if you want to join, please do. Just send a resume and a job description to dallaspickcrew@gmail.com and they'll get you on the schedule. Like I said, uh, they do three interviews every week, and it's just a great opportunity. Their motto is practice early, practice often. You can do it more than once because when you get that, your resume is just a hook. Your LinkedIn profile is just a hook to get that phone call. How you answer and how you talk in a phone call and an interview is what gets you to the job. So this is really important. All right, time for the career tip of the week. Good morning, Rosina.
Good morning, Jeff. And again, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. All right, let's see. Today's career tip of the week. I'm bringing you the 2026 guide to AI agents. I don't know about you, but I was wondering, okay, so I mean, I hear AI agents and they do all these different things. What do they really do? So that is the answer to the question I'm bringing to you today. So, like I said, this is the 2026 guide to AI agents, your one-stop resource for gaining in-depth knowledge and hands-on applications of AI agents. And this this guide is produced by the editors Anna Gutowska, who is an AI engineer and developer advocate for IBM, and then Cole Stryker, he is the staff editor for AI models in IBM Think. So in this comprehensive guide, you will find a collection of AI agent related content, such as educational explainers, hands-on tutorials, podcasts, episodes, and much more. An artificial intelligence agent, AI agent, refers to a system or program that is capable of autonomously performing tasks on behalf of a user or another system by designing its workflow and utilizing available tools. AI agents can encompass a wide range of functionalities beyond natural language processing, including decision-making, problem-solving, interacting with external environments, and executing actions. So the definition of an AI agent, like I said, it's a system that autonomously performs tasks by designing workflows with available tools. And AI agents encompass a wide range of functions beyond the natural language processing, which again covers decision making, problem solving, interacting with external environments, and performing actions. So let's look at some tasks that they may be able to help you with when it comes to being a job seeker, finding jobs, and preparing for interviews. So that is the prompt I use with my Gemini partner. And I asked the question, how can AI agents help a job seeker find jobs and prepare for interviews? And it gave me 4 different ways it can do that. So the job search is notoriously exhausting. Navigating applicant tracking systems, tailoring resumes, and prepping for interviews can feel like a full-time job. So while the first generation AI tools force you to do all the heavy lifting, which is copying, pasting, and prompting endlessly, AI agents act as an autonomous career co-pilot. So they can handle complex multi-step workflows to help you target the right roles, optimize your applications, and walk into interviews fully prepared. So the 4 answers to that question prompt, how can AI agents help a job seeker find jobs and prepare for interviews? First, it can provide smarter sourcing and automated matching. Second, it can hyper-personalize your resume and cover letter tailoring. Third, immersive, context-aware interview coaching. And fourth, company and culture intelligence gathering. So going back to the first one, smarter sourcing and automated matching. Instead of spending hours scrolling through job boards, filtering out irrelevant listings, an AI agent can act as a personalized scout. So continuous sourcing. You can upload your resume and define target roles, salary expectations, and preferences. The agent continuously monitors job boards, company career pages, and databases to surface high quality matches. It can also be a true skill matcher. So rather than just looking for keyword matches, which is often it's going to fail, those agents can use reasoning to analyze your transferable skills, scope of experience, and career trajectory to tell you why a role is a strong fit for you. And then the agentic twist to that is advanced job seeker agents like Job Agent X or Tacenta to actually stage or submit applications on your behalf directly through corporate applicant tracking systems. I would be careful with that one right there. So I'm just, again, presenting the information, but be careful of what you do. Don't let somebody else or something else apply for you. The second answer, again, hyper-personalized resume and cover letter tailoring. A single generic resume rarely works anymore. To stand out, your application must align with the specific nuances of a job description. So what an AI agent can do is ATS deconstruction. The agent dissects a target job description to identify the core competencies, required technologies, and structural keywords the employer is seeking. The contextual translation is instead of just stuffing keywords, the agent rewrites bullet points to frame your actual achievements in the exact language the target company values. And then the agentic twist is when a new job matches your profile, the agent can instantly generate a tailored resume and a custom cover letter, then save it in an organized dashboard for you to review and download. The third answer to the question, immersive context-aware interview coaching. So practicing in front of a mirror or reading lists of the top 10 questions, that doesn't prepare you for the real pressure of a live interview. Agents turn interview prep into an interactive feedback driven program. So you put in the target role and resume, and then the agent analyzes gaps and themes, then live simulated interview, and then holistic feedback for you as far as a feedback loop. So that results in role play simulations. So the agent will adapt a persona of a specific interviewer, such as a highly technical engineering manager or a behavior focused HR director. It conducts a simulated interview asking follow-up questions based on the answers that you provide rather than just sticking to a static script. It provides real-time speech and content feedback. So through voice-enabled agents, you can practice speaking out loud. The agent analyzes your responses and scores them on clarity, structure, like the STAR method, and then conciseness and completeness. And then the agentic twist to that is emerging interview prep agents like Prepto don't treat sessions in isolation. They use long-term memory to detect patterns over time, which it's noticing if you consistently skip talking about failures, over explain technical details, or struggle with system design estimations across multiple practice rounds. And then the fourth answer to the question, company and culture intelligence gathering. So great candidates ask great questions. AI agents can perform deep dive research to prepare you for executive level conversations. So how does that help? By creating deep dive dossiers. You can instruct an agent to gather public information on a target company, including their recent press releases, quarterly earnings, calls, competitor landscape, and organizational pain points. And you can also ask for strategic question builder. So that's based on that specific research. The agent suggests highly tailored questions to ask the interviewer So instead of asking the question, what is your culture like? The agent might suggest, I saw you recently migrated your database to AWS. How did that impact the team's deployment cycle? So just a suggestion. And then again, a pro tip would be maintain your authentic voice. While AI agents are incredible for heavy lifting, such as researching, formatting, and drafting, recruiters can easily spot robotic, fully AI generated content. So use agents to structure, refine, and practice, but make sure your final resume, cover letter, and spoken answers are delivered in your own genuine voice. So I hope you enjoy this week's career tip on using AI agents for job search that is just one way of using an AI agent. Make sure to review the comprehensive 2026 guide to AI agents by IBM. It provides you with the education and resources to use these agents in your daily business across all industries. Review the use cases and application section for more industry-specific details. And then make sure to click on Learn More as you're reading through this thing, because under Learn More, every topic goes further and deeper on the perspective of that topic, and how AI agents work in that area. So again, this week's career tip is the 2026 guide to AI agents. Enjoy the resource and have a great weekend, everybody.
Rosina, thank you very, very much. All right, today for lunch, we're going to meet at Mama's Pizza, 2130 West Parker Road on Parker. It's about a half block west from Custer. They've got a pizza buffet, pasta, big salad bar, and hot cinnamon rolls. So we'll take a head count here at the end of the meeting, see how many people want to join us. It's a great way to, extend your networking opportunities and find out more about people, because we're just much more casual time. If you want to receive today's materials, you'll get a link to the YouTube video, which is being recorded right now. You'll get a copy of the career tip of the week that Rosina just read. You'll get a copy of the Zoom chat. I'll go through and edit it and get it out to everybody to ensure you get it. For everybody who's here and new, if this is the first time you've been here, as long as you fill out the little slip of paper and it's legible, that's the important thing. If it's legible, I'll get you added to the roster. For everybody who's, or if you've already on the roster, make sure you check your name off so I can do that. For everybody who's online, please make sure your email address is in the chat somewhere, so that way I can make sure to get you included in all this material. Here are some people who I don't have any emails for. If you happen to be on the call, please put your email on the list so I can get your name off of this list. These are our mystery people who have attended the meeting and only gave us a name. All right, time for our main event. Our speaker today is John McDorman. He's going to talk about networking strategies. For those who remember 20 years ago, John used to run a career transition workshop down at Douglas Baptist Church at Douglas and Northwest Highway every Monday night, and there would be 200 to 300 people who would show up every week, except for the week for interviewing, because people didn't want to get interviewed. But they would show up all the other nights, the other 11 nights of the year. And this is John's presentation from that. This was actually recorded in March of 2021 when we started COVID. He was one of our many speakers who talked on networking. So in fact, at John's workshop on that Monday night, I actually got a job out of it. I had a guy come up to me and say, I'm not qualified for this job, but can I give him your name? And they did, and I had a job for 3.5 years driving out to Greenville, Texas. So you just never know where you're going to meet somebody and talk about stuff. So we'll flip over to John and let him get started here.
Here we go.
Everybody see that fine?
Yes, sir. Can.
All right. Just move a few things around. Well, again, it's good to be here. I'm going to talk about networking strategies or how to network from your network. This is an adaptation from our topic that we do on the Career Transition Workshop. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that workshop when we wrap up, but it is now online and you can listen to and see the slideshows associated with each of our topics. And that's just one way to augment your job search, again, free online. So when we wrap up, I'll give you information about how to get in touch with that. So when we talk about networking, it's kind of like, what is networking? How does it work? Networking isn't just something that you start when you're looking for a job. It really is kind of an art. It's kind of a science of networking, really probably more of a way of life, something you should always be doing. And as an example of that, how many of you would say, boy, I sure wish I had started this networking thing long before I lost my job? All right, so the problem is that most folks think they know everything there is to possibly know about networking. And they charge out, they lose their job, they meet with friends, they meet with family. Then they ask them, hey, I guess you learned I lost my job and I really could use your help. If you can know of anything that I would fit, or just let me know. And when that kind of proves unproductive, then they just abandon it as kind of, hey, well, that was just a waste of time. You know, it reminds me of the person that had some trees to cut down in the back of their yard. And so they went to Home Depot and told what the story was, and they rented him a chainsaw, and he was gone for most of the day. But when he brought the tool back, he just slammed it down on the counter, and you could just look at him. He was full of sawdust and sweat and had cuts and bandages on his arm. He said, that stupid thing doesn't work very well at all. And the clerk just said, well, let me see what's might be the trouble. And he fired it up, and and the guy said, what's that noise? You know, sometimes you think you know how to work something well, but you may just be clueless. So what we're going to do is give you some 9 nifty notes about networking that'll give you a better idea of what you need to do to properly network out of your network. So here we go. The first way to network from your network is it is better to build bridges than to burn them. You burn them when you really jump into networking a little bit too soon, before you're really ready, before you do 3 things as a condition of starting networking and networking well. The first is being properly parted. What do I mean by that? You know, success comes when you're focused more on the future and not preoccupied with the past. Unfortunately, many people fail to recognize the emotional toll that job search has on people, and they just charge out networking. When asked about their prior work, I mean, their emotions are right on the edge, and it's really easy to trip them up. I always say, hey, start building your network after that emotional pang is kind of over, and so that if somebody says, well, tell me about your prior boss, you know, you don't grit your teeth and face turn red and everything else. So take a little bit of time. People want to hear you talk more about tomorrow and less about yesterday. And then secondly, before you charge out networking, I want you to be properly pointed. You need to find your future focal point. Find that targeted position in which you're ready to prepare a campaign to go after that job, and go after that job with a vengeance. You know, success comes when you really narrow your focus, narrow your niche, and have a ability to send a simple single message to the marketplace. You know, once networking, people are going to ask you a very simple question. What kind of job are you looking for? And that's your opportunity to nail it. This is me. This is the job I'm after. This is what I do best. This is what I enjoy the most. You know, if you come across as indecisive or unclear or unfocused or uncommitted, you're going to be unemployed. It just doesn't work as well as somebody that's a passion about what they're there and talk about. Job search is far more like spearfishing than net fishing. Job search is more like using a rifle than just a shotgun. You know, you point at it and you hit it. People that come off and saying, well, I'm just trying to leave my options open, or you know, I'm thinking about maybe being a IT consultant or working as a CIO. Those are different kinds of things. That's like sending a message saying I'm going to run for 2 different offices at the same time, or I don't really know what office I'm going to run for. I'm just leaving my options open. So figure out, get properly appointed, find your future focus. And then the third thing we'd say before you run out and start networking is be properly packaged. Success comes when you prepare your promotional package, not simply revamp your resume. You know, to be properly packaged, you need a 2-minute verbal resume, you need a 2-page written resume aimed specifically at your focal point, and then you need a too often viewed LinkedIn resume. So what's the point? The point is the point is, if you are poorly prepared, your first contact with a network may cause more damage than good. And there's only one chance to make a good first impression. So it is better to burn bridges than to burn them, better to build them than to burn them. So make sure you've got these things. If you're early on in the job search, get these checked off your list before you jump out and start networking. All right, note number 2. You're always networking, either in one of 2 ways. You're either networking for enjoyment or networking for employment. Networking for enjoyment is often called the informational interview, and networking for employment is often called the occupational interview. We call in an information interview is where the main purpose is to gather in information. In networking for employment or an occupational interview, the main purpose is to respond to information, give out information. So seriously, in both types of interviews, there should be a sharing of information, but it mixes up and changes a little bit based upon type. In an information interview, you want them to do most of the talking. Consequently, you should be the one prepared to do most of the questions and asking. In an occupational interview, you should be doing most of the talking. But by most of the talking, what am I talking about? I'm talking about 60%, 40%, 40%, 60%, somewhere in that balance. In any interview that gets out of balance, 90-10, boy, you need to adjust that. So this is more conversational in tone than interrogation in tone. Okay, looking at process, networking for enjoyment is similar to strategic marketing. Networking for employment works more like tactical selling. Strategic marketing is all about market research, positioning, and branding. It's about getting the word out to the marketplace concerning who you are and what you do. Where tactical selling is more about getting that one-on-one meeting with somebody, getting them to make the right decision to say yes to what you're talking about. So consequently, when networking for enjoyment, the goal should be exposure, marketing yourself to the marketplace. And when networking for employment, the goal is getting closure, driving to results, driving to that offer. When networking for enjoyment, you gain exposure by meeting new people literally every day. Not a day should go by without meeting 2 or 3 people and letting them meet you. And when networking for employment, you gain closure by getting an offer. The offer could be an offer to come back, or the offer could be the offer to come to work. But if you notice that if you notice in your job search that there's not a converging to the end, you've started, you've had a few interviews, you've been screened by this person, and if that's not converging to an end, then you're just coasting. And really the only way to be coasting is to be heading downhill. So make progress with each meeting you have when you're networking for employment. All right, and then finally, when you're networking for enjoyment, the focus is on building lasting relationships. When networking for employment, the focus is on getting results. One of the fundamental mistakes I think is made in networking is the drive for results. We have a lot of type A folks out there and they want to drive for results rather than working relationships. Meeting with somebody to get something from them, maybe a lead, maybe 2 or 3 names to add to your prospect list. No. Networking is not about you. It is about how you can help them. If you build a relationship, who knows? Who knows what kind of results you may receive over the life of that relationship. So now listen up. Here's the secret, the real secret to networking. Every contact you meet, every situation is both an informational and an occupational interview. Each situation will have both a primary and secondary objective. You may meet someone, for instance, in an informational interview, but you might demonstrate your competence by asking great questions, and who knows where that might lead. On the other hand, you might be in a job interview and you just see that this is a bad fit, this is not going to work. Well, shift to gathering information about where to go next. Ask them, if not you, then who? If not here, then where? And if not when, now, then when? You can always turn one type of interview to the other because, in fact, you're always networking both ways. So what's the point? Remember that you're always networking, and if you're not networking, something terrible happens. Nothing. All right. So let's look at number 3. Number 3 is tackle targets, don't randomly roam the range. In order to be proactive, you need to tackle targets rather than randomly roaming the range. Randomly roaming the range is simply asking people you meet for people to meet. So let's say that they give you some names. All right. For example, they might give you the name of a recruiter, and that should help. But recruiters are specialists. And if they don't niche in your niche, then meeting them would just be a waste of your time. Well, they might give you the name of a well-connected person they know. Oh, that should help. But that person they know, who knows just about everybody, is their investment broker. And they may be more interested in your 401k than connecting you to their contacts. So meeting them would be a waste of time. Or maybe they give you a name of a friend they know. That should help. But, you know, you're racking your brain and you can't really see how that person can actually help you in the least. So you blow them off and don't contact them. And then the person who referred you to them feels really unappreciated. So good luck next time. This kind of networking, moving from name to name, just wastes valuable time. You are looking in the wrong places, trying to find a job to replace the one you lost. With targets, you know where to look. You look for people who can move you closer to your targets, who can give you more information about your targets, who can give you maybe an introduction into your targets. Niche networking tackles targets, and it begins with the end in mind. Simply put, if you don't have a target list, or if you don't have a target to shoot at, the target tends to default to your foot. So let's look at what I mean by this. And this is one of the top ones of how we work with our clients to go directly into how to network the best way. So here's how you tackle targets. You need to target people inside target companies, inside target industry segments. And it starts with selecting your target industry segment. An example of what I mean by industry segments might be, let's say, financial services. An example of industry segments might be under financial services would be like banking or credit units, which are segments of that industry. Whoop, a little fast on the advance there. All right, so we're looking at those segments. You're looking really at how to identify those. Sometimes our list of target companies may come from those industry segments. Why? Because your track record tends to sell. So if you've been in an industry or in a related industry segment, now you have the track record, and track record gives you the shortest path to getting to finding new jobs. But an alternative to looking at industry segments as a means of coming up with target companies, you could also target some things like startups or pre-IPOs or turnarounds, if that happens to be more of what your niche might be. But the issue here is they're all related somehow to the work experience that you may have or can parlay into that. Again, the key would be to have the experience, a track record of working with companies that share what the companies are on your target list have in common. Bottom line, you need to develop a list of target companies based on what they have in common, which is usually the same industry or the same industry segment. Now then, as you develop this list of companies, let me make sure you're just not putting out companies on that list just for fun. You have to really say, hey, would I work for this company if I put it on the list? If the answer is no, it shouldn't be on the list. If the answer is maybe, it shouldn't be on the list. The answer should be, if you happen to say, hey, John, do you know anybody on this list? And I say, how about that one? I know the CEO. I can make an introduction for you. That you don't go, well, I really don't want to work there. All right. They have to really be companies that you would really know that you would want to be able to work there. So then how many target companies? Well, as you can see, I suggest 200. 200. Whoa, that seems like a lot. Most of you, if you even look at, have developed a target list, probably is far less than that 200. But why 200? Well, first off, I will tell you that 200 works. It never fails any of our clients. Identify 200 targets and then work those targets. You will land a job, period. We've never had a client who's gone through the effort of knowing what companies they're after and identifying them doesn't end up successfully landing the job. So first off, 200 works. But secondly, 200 isn't 2,000. Oh my gosh, if you can identify 2,000 targets, you need to really tighten up your search criteria and narrow it down to a more manageable number of targets. And then finally, 200 isn't 20. I mean, let's face it, if all you can come up with is 20 targets, just call 2 in the afternoon and 2 in the morning every day of each week and just ask if the person's died yet. I mean, 200 is just not enough. You need to loosen up your criteria in order to have more on the list. Again, 200 is ideal. But you can increase or decrease the size of your list by, again, loosening or tightening your search criteria. What I would also do is 200 is not necessarily easily manageable. So I want you to give them a priority ranking. Make 10% A's, 30% B's, 60% C's, against whatever criteria you would have. And now you've produced kind of a top 20 list. And you can increase or decrease the total number by just looking at a few criteria. And here's what is typical, geography. Geography, if you are tried to just stay in Dallas and all you can come up with is 50 targets, you're going to have to face the fact that maybe you need to be regional or national, that 50 just isn't enough. Now, you can still put in priority order that the ones that are local have a higher priority, but 50 is not going to be enough. It reminds me of the client we had that wanted to be a marine biologist in Kansas City. You're just going to need a few more target companies to add to the list. That's just not going to give you enough to play with. All right, so geography is one of those things. Size can be one of those factors that you look at. In terms of size, you may have a company on your list that's too small to afford what your compensation would be. Or there may be some other reasons, maybe to target smaller companies. Sometimes younger companies hire more mature workers, where mature companies hire younger workers. So you may have some other reasons of saying, yeah, that probably shouldn't be on my list. It's the wrong size company. And then there's always the type of company you may be looking for. In terms of its maturity, in terms of how long it's been in the market, I've had clients say, I don't want to go back and work for a publicly traded company. I don't want to work with an international company anymore. Or type could be, I want to work with a company that does business in Lithuania. Who knows? But your list can increase or decrease based upon what your own criteria would be. And as companies drop off your A list, replace them with ones that are on your B list or C list. Real simple. So what's the point of this? Targeting people within target companies, within target industries, creates the most direct and shortest path to your future employer. All right, I've got 7 questions. I'm going to take a pause here and see. How the hell does one come up with 200 companies to target, especially if I take companies within commuting distance? All right, great question. I might go down to the Dallas Public Library, downtown Dallas. I might walk up to, I believe, the 2nd floor these days, where they have a business and technology section of the library. I might walk up to the research librarian that sits behind the counter, and I may say, hey, how does one in the hell come up with 200 companies? And they are going to introduce you to some free online databases that you can explore, again, by industry, by size, by type. One of my partners and I, a guy named Bob Williford, some of you may know Bob, and I have formed a company, you'll see this a little bit later, called Fast Company Buyers. And when one of our clients says, I want to buy a company, and we go, okay, what size, what geographical territory, what type, what line of business, and guess where we get our information? Out of the same kind of databases to go target companies. So it's not rocket science. What it is, it takes time and effort. And people tend to go, well, I want somebody to do it for me. No, this is one of those ones best done by yourself, so you can begin the research on any of these companies. They'll have the size of the company, number of employees, revenue range. Is a bunch of data that you'll learn besides maybe the data you pull out to keep for ongoing purposes. So that got that company. Let's see. Actually, you can find this online to come up with 200 companies, even online library. The internet is sometimes good at looking at companies. For instance, you can Google a particular industry. But right now, they're not as good as coming up with lists of things. All right. So that's why I recommend library first, because that's access to databases. If you can get access to databases that have lists of companies, then that's great. You don't even have to get out of your chair. All right. So let's move on. I'll come back to pick up other questions as I get on through that. So you target people, target companies, target industry segments. I usually start from top, asking the client what it is that is the nature of the work that they're looking for. All right, let's look at note number 4. It's a small world after all. Went to Disney with my grandkids, got so sick of that song. Okay, many people think that networking won't pay off for them because their network is so small. And it's not how small your network is, it's really how small the world is. And it's getting smaller and flatter every day. So let's look at these circle of contacts and ask the question, how many people do you know? Well, based on research conducted by sociologists and published in Social Access and Clustering of Personal Connections and Social Networks, here's their answer. First, let's look at, let's have the darn thing advanced. First, let's look at close contacts, people with whom you have a close personal mutual relationship. You know, how many close contacts do you think you have? I want you to think about that. Researchers would give you the answer of 9. Second, let's look at what I'd call regular contacts, people you meet on a regular basis, but you might not know too much about them. You might just know a name or a first name. You may know their face, but not their name. But you see them all the time. How many regular contacts do you think you have? Again, think. And I'll give you the researchers' answers. That would be 31. So between close and regular, there's a group of about 40 people that you see on a regular basis that you know well or just know. You may know about, but you may know real deep with some of those relationships. Well, then finally, there are acquaintances, people that you have met sometime, somewhere, somehow. So how many are those? Researchers' answer here is over 1,000. So people think their network is small because they are generally just thinking about those close and regular contacts, close and regular, like these 40 people. Oh, my network's so small. All I know is these 40 people. And because all those 40 people many of those 40 people may know one another, when you start networking, they'll say things like, well, have you talked to Gary? Have you talked to Walt? And you go, I already know these people. Matter of fact, I introduced you to these people at one time. So it's not as effective until you start working beyond close and regular contacts to get to the acquaintances or strangers that are going to be referred to you. So how does that work? This is the second part of the note. It's a small world afterwards. How many of you have ever heard about the 6 degrees of separation? Most of you have? Okay. This is what it suggests. It suggests that if a person is one link away from each person they know, and then 2 links away from each person who is known by one of the people you know, then everybody is at most 6 links away from any other person in the world. And it can be proven mathematically. And while 6 degrees of separation is kind of interesting, here's what will blow your mind. Instead of everybody in the world, what if we just narrowed it down to people in the good old USA? What do you think the probability is that person A could be linked to person B with, say, only 2 links? Only 2 links. all right, based again upon empirical work done by researchers and again published in Context and Influence in Social Networks. Their answer is, drum roll, 50%. 50%. It's a coin toss. It's a coin toss. And that's why you hear me say, do you know anybody that works for XYZ company? Or do you know somebody who would know someone from XYZ company? If you know somebody, you're one link away. If you know somebody who knows somebody, you're 2 links away. There's a 50-50 chance the answer to that question will produce positive results for you. All right, so what's the point? Your network is bigger than you think when you consider how few links are required to make a contact with the target. One more reason why you have to have targets to make this be proactive and effective. All right, let's look at number 5. It's all about social media. And let's talk a little bit about online networking communities as a resource for job seekers. You know, Gary and Walt talked a little bit about having been at earlier stages of the career transition workshop. When we first had this out, we didn't just say LinkedIn and Facebook. We had MySpace and Plaxio and a bunch of things that have since fallen by the wayside. And these are the winners. These are the winners. And first, there's a difference between social networking, connecting with friends to socialize, versus business networking, developing relationships to help deliver results. Consequently, the more business-oriented websites usually produce better results, and we would recommend LinkedIn. Everybody should be on LinkedIn, and everybody should be aware of what they need to do with LinkedIn and how to construct a LinkedIn resume. And Facebook is a good one for social site, and it could also give information in terms of your researching individuals as well as LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is the best for business networking. What's happening now is recruiters are now searching both of these databases for candidates. So watch out what information you present. Remember, you will be judged by the company and friends that you keep. I always love the fact that I'll look at somebody's LinkedIn picture and there the person is in appropriate business attire, and then you flip over to their Facebook and they're all standing by kegs of beer. I mean, you got to watch what you're doing. Because your messaging through these websites is now being looked at effectively by recruiters. So I would also tell you, hey, limit your time associated with being on these websites. It's really easy for a job seeker to hide behind a screen thinking they're actively working on their job search, when maybe that's not the most effective tool, but it's the easiest tool to use to hide from doing the real hard work. So what's the point here? Social media networking is important, but not a substitute for face-to-face relationship building encounters. High touch is better than high tech. High tech should prepare you better for high touch. All right, let's look at number 6. I'll come back for questions in a minute after I finish this one. You need to learn to discern. Learn to discern. Let's assume that you are successful and someone in your network gives you a referral, gives you the name of someone they know. It's kind of like, now what? Now you need to qualify the lead. Determine whether it is worth your time to connect to that contact. You need to qualify the contact, qualify the connection, and qualify the call. So what I mean by that, let's take a first look at qualifying the contact. You need to investigate. What is this person's potential? How might they be able to help me? The easiest way when someone gives you your referral, gives you a name, is to say, tell me a little bit about George. All right? They're the best source to tell you about George. Now, I'll just tell you, if they refer you to Henry, you say, how about Henry, not how about George. I just want to make sure I didn't mess people up there. But you're asking them, tell me about this person you're referring me to. Why is it important that I get to know as much about this person as possible? Well, first, you need to determine if they're really worth contacting. You know, the background information on a contact can be a source of what you could talk about once you get connected to them, what you two might have in common. So ask yourself, what do I need to know about them? Well, you need to know some professional information, professional background. You know, what's the position? What's the company? How long have they been working there? Kind of what educational background they might have, what association, professional associations, personal associations might they be part of. You need to understand a little bit about their personal background. Do they have family, or you know, what kind of interests they have? Tell me a little bit about the person's personality. Are they willing to help others? And as you gather this information, you're going to be evaluating that person's potential. Are they a high potential, medium potential, low potential? You know, if during this discussion with your referral source, if you qualify the contact as a high potential, ooh, dude, always persevere to make that contact and make that connection. If you qualify the candidate as low or no potential, you need to ask the referral source why they recommended this contact. You might have missed something. If it ends up that you believe the contact really is not worth chasing, tell the referral source, hey, thanks, but you know, I don't think I'll take the time right away to visit with them, maybe a little bit later. Otherwise, after somebody has given you a name, you have to, listen to this, you have to, within 24 hours, make an initial attempt to contact that referral. Because failure to do so, pushing it off, man, you come back to your referral source and they go, hey, did you talk to George? No, I haven't. How do you think that makes that person feel? You know, they were giving you a gift to somebody they knew, and you didn't follow up on that. You didn't open the package. All right. So the second step is to qualify the connection. You need to assess how reliable are the relationships between you and your referral source, and between your referral source and their contact. All right. Connections really are like bridges. The stronger the bridge, the heavier the traffic, the heavier the traffic can go over it. The more you can assume or ask the contact once you're with them. You know how strong your relationship is with the referral source, but what's the relationship like between your referral source and their contact? And the way you find out is, again, how do you know George? Tell me a little bit about what your history is together. Connections are only as valuable as the weakest link. With strong links, you can make much more happen. And then the final thing to qualify is the call itself. You need to think about how reasonable is the referral. You need to measure the temperament of the call, or the temperature of the call. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just look at different ways of classifying calls. One is a cold call. A cold call obviously is when the referral source is non-existent. It's when you make a cold call, the gatekeeper might ask one of these killer questions. She's in a meeting right now. Can I tell her what the nature of your call is? Ugh. You know, who are you with? Just me here, all right? You know, or is this in regards to employment? You know, these are killers. On a cold call, you get stopped usually in your tracks making cold calls, all right? But then there are cool calls. A cool call is when the referral source is present, but passive. When they simply say, hey, use my name. Use my name as if that's some great door opener for you. And yes, you can call and say, hey, Walt Glass suggested that I give you a call. Is George in? And what does the gatekeeper say? And who are you with? And is this in regards to employment? Or, you know, What are you doing? A cold call is just kind of one notch up from a cold call because your referral source didn't do anything other than give the name out. So what you're really looking for is a warm call. And a warm call is when the referral source is not only present, but is proactive. They are willing to call or write or email and say, hey, I'll make the call, to tell them to take the call when it comes in from you. That's great. That's a good warm call. But you want to know what a better warm call is? A better warm call is when the referral source requests a meeting between their contact and you. Wow, that's really what you're after. But actually, there's something even better. The best referral source suggests a trilateral meeting with all three people, the referral source, the contact, and you. Here's what the good book says. In Proverbs, it says, let another praise you and not your own mouth, someone else and not your own lips. Your referral source can do that if you get the three of you together. All right. But optimally, there's hot calls, and hot calls is when the referral source has made such an effective pitch for you that the referral wants to give you a call and invite you to join their company, or at least meet them for a meeting, first meeting. So what's the point? If a contact is worth chasing, then learn as much as you possibly can about the contact and about the connection that is between the referral source and the contact before trying to warm up any sort of a call. All right, let me jump back to see if there are additional chat questions on this. I've got hello from, let's see, what about LinkedIn meetings and messages where referral source gives an intro? What are the considerations on that? I'm glad this, Jason, you asked that question. Far too often, people are assuming that LinkedIn is the best way to make that connection. LinkedIn is not. Your referral source should be able to give you more direct or more intimate, like a cell phone number, to be able to contact somebody that they know well. I mean, if you're just fishing in the sea, you're going to begin to get back to the cold call status. But if you're coming through to somebody through a referral source, then they have better information than just using LinkedIn. So what would you use LinkedIn for? To fully investigate what that person says is their background on LinkedIn. But then I would go through trying to make a call to make a connection. When your email's not working because nobody gives you back, when the phone's not working after you left a message, and you've tried different ways to reach out, then last resort, I would go back through LinkedIn. But generally, if they didn't return an email or didn't return a phone call or a voice message, you know, they're not going to necessarily do LinkedIn as well. All right, good question though. A three-way discussion, let's see. Hello from New York, healthcare, currently happy to connect in the network, okay. All right. All right. We got three more to go, and then we'll be wrapping up real quick. All right. So the next issue is you got to kiss a bunch of frogs to find the prince. So pucker up and get ready to kiss a bunch of frogs. That's right, a bunch of frogs, which means don't expect to find a prince on the first kiss. It takes time, so don't expect too much too soon. Here's what happens along this contact connection chain. You know, the starting point, networking starts with the primary contact, and that is, again, somebody you know personally. Intermediate stops are like secondary contacts. That's people you don't know who have been referred to you by somebody you do know. But then there's the third and fourth level out. Contacts are with people you don't know who've been referred to you by people you just met. So here's the key. Where do most of the hits happen? At the primary level, secondary level, third or fourth level, You know, where do the hits? By hit, I mean, where does the job offer typically come from? Well, this may fool some of you, but most hits happen 3 to 4 out. 60% happen with the third or fourth contact out. So let's interpret this. You know, here's another question. Let's say that you have a free hour tomorrow afternoon, and there's a high potential person in your that you personally know that you haven't yet contacted. And then there's also this high potential total stranger who was referred to you by secondary contact that you just met. Who do you try to meet? Who do you try to meet? Which one of those two? Well, the right answer is based upon where most hits happen, and that's the stranger. More awkward because you're not talking to somebody you know, but more productive because you're going after where the hits occur. So I could also talk to you about the different ratios, like the ratio of how many people you meet before you generate a job lead. Those are typically high ratios, like 10 to 1, 20 to 1. But then the hit ratio between the number of job leads generated to the number of offers received is much lower. Typical ratios are 5 to 1, 10 to 1. You combine those, you're going to be talking about 100 to 200 contacts to receive a single job offer. You know, setting a pace of contacting 2 a day or 10 a week would take you 10 to 20 weeks of effort to get a single lead. All right, so, or a single offer. So again, networking is like a giant funnel where you meet contacts at the top and have faith that a job will drip out on the bottom. Your job is not to watch for the drip, but just keep feeding that funnel constantly. Again, the good book says, cast your bread upon the surface of the waters, and you will find it after just a couple of hours. After many days is what it says. So what's the point here? Networking is a game of chance where the odds of winning improve as you increase the potential for hits and increase the number. So in short, find a bunch of frogs that are good looking. All right, here we go. 2 more to go and we'll be done. Nurture your network. True networking, person-to-person networking, in person, requires that your network, nurture your network and be careful never to abuse it. How? First, I would say focus less on the efficiency of short-term results, like, ooh, I got to get that person a resume, and focus more on the effectiveness of long-lasting relationships, like developing a resource that will last a long time. Networking is more like a courtship than a one-night stand. Payoffs may not occur at the point of the meeting or your initial interview, or even during your job search. It may come later and more indirectly. Secondly, focus less on pushing forward as in a linear race, and focus more on looping back as a circular embrace, as a way of staying in touch. You're not trying to race through everyone you know and let them know you're out of work. What you're really trying to do is you're constantly looping back, revisiting people in your network. For high potential people, hey, loop back usually is short. And for low potential, you still want to loop back, but maybe it's more like once in a while. And then third, focus less on having people feeling used and more on having people feeling useful. Relationships are built brick by brick over time. Time spent getting to know that person, studying that person, reading all that you can about that person, talking with that person, listening to them. Interestingly, it's the same things you do in building a relationship with God. So what's the point here? Relationships don't simply mature in a magic moment of a single meeting. And then last but not least, is the golden rule is not whoever has the gold rules, Many different faiths and religions have their version of the golden rule. Matthew, a Jewish tax collector under Roman Empire occupation, recorded how Jesus said it. And taking from Eugene Peterson's message, this is how he presents it. Here's a simple rule of thumb to guide your behavior. Ask yourself what you want people to do for you, then grab the initiative and do it for them. Reciprocity, it is like a gift exchange. But here's the secret to success. You give without expectations of getting anything in return. Only the hope. The rules of reciprocity have 3 axioms. Sowing precedes reaping. Zig Ziglar once said, you can get anything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. And then, of course, the Beatles said, in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Second is the O factor precedes the I factor. The I factor is thinking only about I, me, my, mine. The O factor considers others as more important, considers them. They might not actually be, but you want to consider them. You want to regard them as that. In an ancient letter written to the Philippians, it says, do nothing of selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind. Let each of you regard one another as more important than themselves. Do not merely look after your own self-interest, but also the interest of others. And then finally, giving precedes getting. Truly, there are more blessings in giving than getting. Churchill said it this way, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. All right, my friends, we're at the end. I said I would come back and talk about things. One is I want to make sure I address any other questions. I'll do that in just a minute if time permits. If you have a question, a burning question you didn't want to ask or didn't get answered, there's my email address, jmcd@transitionconsulting.com. Be glad to visit with you via email, or if necessary, we'll connect by phone. I do encourage you to learn more about a bunch of different topics. Networking is key, like Jeff started our meeting with. If you want to learn more, go to Career Transition Workshop, here's the key, .org, and you will find a bunch of modules and information about how to conduct a successful job search. But sometimes we ask our clients that start out looking for a job, why are you looking for a job? And they'll say, you know, food, clothing, shelter, all those good things. Well, you might be more in mind of thinking about buying a company instead of getting the job. Sometimes it takes less time to go do that. It's interesting. Sometimes it's easier to buy a company and appoint yourself king than to try to convince somebody you should be king. So Jeff, I'm turning it back to you. We're getting close to the end of the hour, and I want to make sure we end on time. But if you want me to take some questions, I'll be glad to do that as well.
All right. Well, John's not with us, so but I appreciate everybody enjoy his presentation. I love how he throws a little jokes in just to you know, to keep you going. And I always laugh when I see his photo on, this is his photo on LinkedIn. As you can tell, it's not him currently. This is him 20 years ago, but I always find it pretty funny. So we've got over 40 different speakers who talk about who talk about networking on the YouTube channel. If you if you click on the YouTube channel about networking, there's lots of different speakers. So if you need the little motivational push or, you know, pick me up for the day, just go and watch one of those. Walt? Hold on, Walt.
I sent a file to Jeff that has the link and the agenda for the 11 workshops, the modules that he has. And so, Jeff, you want to pass that out, when you pass out the notes and the information. And so that link gives you the video, it gives the information. I've actually been through his 11 module program 3 times. I have detailed notes of each session myself. There's notes for the workshop itself. A few were presenting. I've presented a few sessions of the career transition workshop. But if you want to look at the whole gamut of job search, if you like what you heard John saying today, he does the same thing for all these other topics. He's got great insight, great information that can help. So you can look for that link. If you want Walt's detailed notes of each workshop, I'll send you a file if you want that level of detail. But I would suggest that if you want to go back and look at the whole process from step 1 through step 11, take a look at that link.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Next Friday, Brian Gluck will be with us to talk about the power of face reading, which should be an interesting topic. Everybody has a face, so we'll see what he has to take about them. So join us next Friday for that. This video will get posted on the Career USA YouTube channel. Click on playlist. You see in the top center, it says networking. So that if you want to see one of the other videos that's on networking, you can watch one there. But all the speakers we've had here at the North Dallas group, the lower left-hand corner where it says view full playlist, if you click on that, don't click on the video because it'll start a video. But if you click on view full playlist, you can go and scroll and then go down and watch whatever video you want to go back and watch at your convenience. Just remember that the speakers usually start about 30 minutes into the videos for the North Dallas group. Next Tuesday, for LinkedIn Tuesday, Ruth Lipsky will be with us to talk about LinkedIn tools for job seekers. Ruth works for Lee Heck Harrison. She works with job seekers on a daily basis. So she'll give us her presentation next Tuesday at 1. The practice interview team is meeting in person right here in this room next Wednesday from 1 to 3 o'clock. And then, like I said, next Friday, the power of face reading, which I'm looking forward to hearing that one. Today, we're going to go to Mama's Pizza. Great way to expand your connections and your waste. Come join us. If you can, how many people think may come so we can know how big a table to get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, whoever gets there first, try to find a table for like 8 people. And that would be great. Just a reminder, the church is closed today. The church doors were open today. You could get in because there's a funeral going on right now in the chapel. So when you leave, sort of be quiet going down the steps and out because the funeral is going on right now. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all next week.